After bringing back Byung-gu back as a shadow, the other S-rank hunters are in shock as they understand that Jinwoo's power is to use the power formerly held by the dead. Byung-gu immediately goes over to Hae-in and starts healing her. Yoon-ho, devastated to see his friend resurrected back as a shadow, tries to confront and puts his hand on Jinwoo's shoulder. Before he could protest and say anything, Jinwoo states that he is amazed at the warm and caring nature of Byung-gu, who even without any commands had started healing Hae-in. Yoon-ho protests and says that thing is no longer Byung-gu, to which Jinwoo agrees. The cameraman, still in shock on witnessing Jinwoo's powers, understands why he was ordered to turn the camera off. Jong-in tries to comprehend Jinwoo's power and its ever-growing scary potential. Meanwhile, Jinwoo and Yoon-ho's discourse continues, with Yoon-ho expressing Byung-gu's hate for fighting, and he understands that Byung-gu's healing powers would be of great help for Jinwoo in his future battles, but it would be disrespectful and agonizing for Byung-gu to continue doing what he hated and wanted to avoid the most. Jinwoo says that this is the second time Yoon-ho has grabbed his shoulder, but this time he is not ordering Jinwoo but is expressing a heartfelt request, trying to look after a friend, and says that he understands and agrees with him. Jinwoo then proceeds to cancel Byung-gu's summon. Byung-gu's shadow, surprised by this, is pleased and smiles at his friend Yoon-ho. Yoon-ho is now at ease, knowing that his friend can now rest at ease. Byung-gu's shadow disappears as Yoon-ho takes one last look and says thank you. Outside the caves, choppers arrive to extract the hunters out of Jeju Island. Dong-wook carries an unconscious Hae-in, and Yoon-ho carries Byung-gu's body back to the chopper with the rest of the hunters. Jinwoo tells Yoon-ho he will be staying back as he has to do some things. Yoon-ho understands and says that there is still a lot left to do, referring to the army of ants still alive. Jinwoo summons Kaizal to clear out the army of ants, obstructing the path for extraction, and clears it with Kaizal just launching itself into flight. On one of the ships, we see Minoru still traumatized by the events that just took place, stating that it is impossible to beat the creature he has seen massacring Goto Ryuji. Sugimoto informs him that the raid has been cleared and the ant that killed Ryuji has been beaten. Minoru, in utter disbelief that there is a hunter that could beat the ant, exists, especially from Korea. Their conversation is cut off by a guard who informs them of the ants that are swarming them. Sugimoto orders them to prepare to counter them. Back in the cave, Jinwoo, along with the ants he summoned as shadows and mages to fight back the army of ants still in the cave. Jinwoo sees that he has been gaining experience from eliminating ants that haven't even hatched. Jinwoo opens his inventory to organize it and notices a weapon he completely forgot about. He summons the Demon King's longsword and swings it around to test its power. With every swing, massive burst of energy in the direction of the strike. Jinwoo, amazed by this, acknowledges its strength and that he should use it more, deciding to use it to clear the rest of the eggs. At the Hunter Management Bureau, a discussion between the director of the Bureau, David Brannon, and the deputy director of the Deferral Bureau of Hunters, Michael Connor, is taking place on the events of the Jeju Island raid, which they had to stay up till 4 a.m. to watch. The director asks the purpose of Michael's visit, which Michael states to be Jinwoo and his powers. They agree that a hunter of such potential would be a waste if he stayed in a small country like Korea. The director then asks for more information on Jinwoo. He is handed a file which has information of the Sung Il-hwan incident, which took place a few months ago at the Hunter Management Bureau. Michael talks about a prisoner that was captured alive by A-rank hunter, James, in an A-rank mission that took place in the eastern US. Michael says that with their information, it looks like Sungjinwoo and Sung Il-hwan are father and son. The director sees this as a great opportunity for their organization, and has to be careful, unlike before incidents, as Korea is an ally, and bringing Jinwoo from Korea might cause strain on that alliance. Michael counters with, "Isn't the risk worth it?" The director thinks for a moment and sternly asks Michael if he can do it. Michael responds, saying they will know only if they try. Jinwoo, having slayed all the ants and eggs, has reached level 100. He then moves towards the ant's corpse, noticing its revolting aura. Jinwoo uses his shadow extraction on the ant, as darkness envelops him completely when he uses his technique. Jinwoo can't feel or sense anything, worried if his technique failed, leading to this, but he is relaxed to see everything back to normal immediately. He turns around to see his technique work as the ant, now in its shadow form, stands in front of him. The ant kneels down to show respect to his new master. Jinwoo notices that the ant is of a general rank which he has never seen before, and is probably higher and stronger than the summons of the other ranks. Jinwoo then moves towards the queen as he is called my king. He turns around to see that it was the ant who called him, asking him to give it a name. Jinwoo notices his absolute obedience like his other warriors and asks him how he can speak. It responds saying he has always been able to speak. Jinwoo, confused, thinks about how his other warriors have been able to speak, even the ones who were human before, and concludes that maybe if the warriors reach a high enough rank, they might be able to speak then. He questions how he can bow his head down to Jinwoo even though he was the one who slayed it. The ant answers that he doesn't think that he died, rather he was given another birth by Jinwoo and is grateful and joyous at this opportunity, and as gratitude will follow Jinwoo to the end. The ant once again asks Jinwoo to bestow him with a name. Jinwoo starts to think of a name for the ant and, being simplistic, considers to call it Gaimi, which literally means ant in Korea, but realizes it's too on the nose, even for him, as he needs to distinguish it from the other ants. He suddenly remembers the name of an author and names the ant after the author as Beru. Beru thanks his master for naming him and giving him this rebirth. Jinwoo goes back to the queen's corpse and uses shadow extraction. The extraction is successful without any issues. Suddenly the shadow ants are alerted and start acting weirdly. Jinwoo feels his link with the ants disappearing and is informed by Beru that the queen has a swarm ability that controls the swarm. Jinwoo infers the queen to be useless for battle, and there is no need for two leaders in the same team, and cancels the shadow extraction. He orders his knights to stop collecting magic stones as they immediately and joyously drop them. Jinwoo leaves the magic stones behind for others to reconstruct the island, and all he needs he has in Beru. Jinwoo wonders if he can clear out the rest of the ants with his forces. Beru informs his master that he can sense the army of ants being disoriented as they don't have any leader. Jinwoo asks Beru of the total strength of the army that remains. He responds, the army of initially 8,700 ants has been reduced to about 4,000. Jinwoo, having underestimated the size of the entire army, sighs and asks Beru if he can take care of all of them. Beru, gladly ready to follow his master's order, accepts it. On one of the guard ships, the battalion is seen battling the ants, keeping them away from the mainland with the help of hunters and weapons on the ships. We see the chaos taking place amidst the battle, with the members of each guild standing up, and the squad leaders taking charge and giving orders to their subordinates. We also see hunters panicking in this intense situation, even the likes of A ranks not being able to keep up. The ants are seen at Haewondae, rushing in swiftly to attack the ships. The hunters prepare themselves to attack as they are face to face with the ants. Just then, a swift swipe slices through an ant, which shocks the hunters, seeing the extreme speed at which the ants were attacked. The army of ants was being wiped out with ease by Jinwoo's shadow general, Beru. It took 2 whole days to finish the ant incursion in the southern regions of Korea. Some ants reached some coasts of China as well. The captain of one of the ships tells how they have not had a moment to rest these past 2 days, as he is informed by a crew of another swarm of ants nearby. He orders to wait a bit and let the hero seize this opportunity. A Chinese hunter, annoyed at what seems like an endless number of ants, draws his swords and with one quick movement sends 2 powerful energy slashes which clear out the swarm of ants. The hunter wishes to face the ant Jinwoo faced instead of these small fires. In a hotel room, a lady asks a man who is watching the Jeju Island raid on the TV for his opinion. The man explains that Mr. Hwang is seeking revenge on Jinwoo, who might have killed his older brother, Hwang Dong-suk. As to how things have progressed, meeting Jinwoo has become harder, as he really wanted to meet him. The man is revealed to be the scavenger guild master, Thomas Andre. The lady, Laura, asks what he would do if they both would fight. Thomas sinisterly says that Mr. Hwang is his asset, and that if anyone touches anything that belongs to him, he will not spare them, not even the government. On the 3rd night of the Jeju Island raid, the military and the Knights Guild are at the Yeongnam province to collect magic stones and defend against unforeseen events. A soldier states that few people have no luck whatsoever, which leads him to narrate a story of a person who wanted to be a gold medalist and worked very hard to achieve this dream without complaining once so that he can reach the Olympics. The person even even passed the doping test and everything aligned perfectly, but all of a sudden, the magical energy sensor detected mana within him, and thus he was disqualified, ending his dream. One of the other knights guessed accurately that this was the night, Hyungnim's story after all. Hyungnim, with determination, says that he now has dropped his dream and is going to begin a new dream of making the best guild in the country. The knights come across a few magic stones that are of the highest quality, which they would use to be the best guild. The female knight exclaims it to be stealing. They collect more magic stones, which they can do safely as Jinwoo had cleared all the ants in the surroundings nicely. One ant suddenly appears and is quickly beheaded by Hyungnim, and he says he wouldn't worry even if there were a few more. The other knights notice a huge man in caveman-like attire, covered in bones, and the skin of a lion around his shoulder appears in front of them. Only selected military and guild members are allowed in this area, which is why the man is asked to identify himself. The knights, just by the size of the man, almost considered him a monster and asked to follow orders or be fired upon. The man, angered, speaks in a language that almost seems monstrous. A man snaps his fingers and all of a sudden, all the knights in the area is now unconscious. The large man looks back at a pale, blue-skinned person and asks him why he did that. The blue-skinned replies saying that they don't need any disturbances and just put them to sleep for a while. The two start discussing the possibility of the presence of a person and why he would be helping humans. They also refer to a woman who would have been frightened by the stench of the dead bugs. They mention that there are no variances and the hunt continues, as the blue-skinned man opens a blue portal when the monstrous man mentions that one of them is here in Korea and that they should take care of him since they are already here. He replies vaguely, saying that it should be left in his hands. The caveman taunts him, claiming him to be afraid. The man, unfazed, says that you can see it however you want as he leaves through the portal. The caveman calls him a coward before he opens a red portal of his own and enters into it, leaving behind no traces of both of their presence. Back in Korea, after a few days, Jinwoo, holding a white flower in a suit, is being photographed by media professionals. After the Jeju Island raid ended, it was the only thing that people were discussing on social media, sharing their experiences witnessing the event and what they felt about it. Jinwoo became the central topic in most discussions, as this was the first time people got to see his powers after he became an S rank. People were praising him, complimenting and appreciating his powers and strength and how his powers work amongst various other things related to Jinwoo. There was a lot of criticism, of course, people questioning his late participation in the raid and how it would have decreased the death toll. Even though many supported him, not many tried to counter these criticisms. Jinwoo thinks as he places the white flowers on a stash of similar flowers. It was for the memorial built to commemorate the lives lost during the 5 Jeju Island raids. Jinwoo sees the mourning family members of the hunters who didn't survive the raid as he passes by Yoonho, who tells him that he didn't believe until now that a single person could stop an entire war, but now he thinks he was wrong and tries to cheer up Jinwoo by saying that it was because of him that this tragedy has finally ended and thanks him. Hae-in and Jinwoo make eye contact for a brief moment before she looks away, pretending to not have seen Jinwoo. Jinwoo looks back at the memorial, stating that 4,801 hunters participated in the 5th Jeju Island raid, with 727 awakened civilians, of which 64 awakened beings and 32 civilians perished in battle. This final raid had the least deaths compared to previous attempts. Jinwoo and the chairman of the Korean Hunters Association are seen discussing right after the memorial service. The chairman, upon knowing that Jinwoo is forming a guild of his own, can just call the association for a master's license as he is a certified S rank. Jinwoo agrees, wondering what other benefits he gets from being an S rank before he is asked by the chairman whether he had cast any sort of barrier in Jeju Island as soldiers and hunters who were cleaning up there went unconscious for no apparent reason. Jinwoo denies casting anything as such, asking for more details, but is informed that the soldiers have no recollection of any events before they lost consciousness and that they have no way of confirming if they were put under a spell or not. Jinwoo wonders if it was a trap left by the ants. One of the bodyguards tells the chairman that he has to leave as he departs, thanking Jinwoo for his time. Jinwoo decides to leave too, walking back to his van, where he is greeted by Adam White, a senior official from the Federal Bureau of Hunters. Adam apologizes for showing up randomly, but justifies it by saying Jinwoo is hard to find and he even looked for him at his office. Jinwoo recalls Jinho mentioning a foreign foreigner who wanted to meet him. Jinwoo asks what business Adam has with him. Adam replies that he is here to share information with Jinwoo that no other country or institution can provide him with besides them. Jinwoo questions the reason for this information to be shared with him. Adam explains that his organization benefits a lot by sharing such information with special individuals like him, and after the Jeju Island raid, the deputy director wishes to meet him in person as Jinwoo has left a strong impression on him. Adam says that there is a car waiting nearby and that Jinwoo would like to meet him. Jinwoo, conflicted on what to do, says that the information that Adam wants to share can be unreliable and will call him after giving it some thought. Adam, upon seeing Jinwoo's hesitation, reveals that there is an upgrader. Hearing this, Jinwoo is shocked as Adam continues explaining that an upgrader is a person who can enhance the abilities of other awakened beings. A car stops in front of a building as Adam informs Jinwoo they have arrived. In one of the rooms, we see Michael Connor introducing himself to Jinwoo, and Adam will be the one interpreting the conversation. Michael gets straight to the point, handing Jinwoo immigration documents that would usually take 1 to 2 years to get processed, but they are making an exception in his case, and with a single word, he will become an American citizen. Jinwoo, not concerned about these documents, asks about the information that was supposed to be shared about the upgrader, and if it is really possible. Michael confirms it and says that such a person is actually with them right now as he calls Ms. Sellner to come in. Jinwoo stares at her with glowing white eyes with the hope of this ability being real, and what would Jinwoo do with this ability?